But the trucks were being careless. As Percy was lining them up, they burst through some buffers. "Help! Help!" they wailed. But it was too late. Cried Bulstrode. "I'm sinking!" "Serves you right," giggled the trucks. "You were always barging in and moaning." It took a very long time to clear the mess. Percy watched as Bulstrode was towed to the beach. "There you are," said the workman. "Now you can just stay here. Children can play in you all day, and at long last you'll be useful." When Percy got home, he and Toby exchanged all their news. "Well, we've both had some seaside surprises today," laughed Toby. "But Driver says that I'm a special attraction anyway, and so are you. Every time we go on our own line." "What do you mean?" asked Percy. "Well, all we have to do is smile and blow whistles at everyone."
You're watching a toothbrush play Billie Eilish.
If one morning you were to ride in Bertie the bus, you would run down the winding country road with him, cross over stone wall bridges and travel past Thomas's branch line. Then you would hear Bertie's friendly greeting as he sees one of his friends pass by. His name is Tom Tipper the postman. Every day, Tom trundles cheerfully around the island of Sodor. He stops at stations collecting letters and parcels from Thomas's and Percy's mail trains. Then he delivers the mail to farms and cottages far and wide. The engines know that anywhere their rails won't reach, Tom Tipper will collect their post and deliver it safely come rain or shine. He's always ready to help load mailbags onto the trains too. "Thank you, Tom," whistles Percy. "Yes, indeed," agrees Thomas. "You're a really useful postman." "Ah," replies Tom, "but where would I be without my van? We make a grand pair." One day, Tom wasn't at the platform. A postman they didn't know dumped the bags on the platform and disappeared. "What happened to Tom?" wondered Percy. "And his old van," said his driver. "No wonder the new postman looks cross. Trying to carry mailbags on a bicycle would make anyone miserable." Next morning, the engines were glad to see Tom back again, but he looked very sad. "Postmaster decided my van was too expensive to run. The rounds take longer on my bike. I'm sorry, I can't stop to help you." "I wish I could cheer Tom Tipper up," sighed Percy, the small engine. He was just wondering how this might be done when his thoughts were rudely interrupted. A man was shouting at Tom Tipper. "You've got to come back to the Fat Controller's office. He needs you to sign some important papers right away." "Oh dear," replied Tom Tipper. "This is going to make me later still." He was in a hurry and being careless. He propped his bike against Percy's mail truck and rushed away. "Stop!" cried Percy, but Tom was out of sight. There was worse to come. Percy's driver hadn't seen the bike and he started away. "Oh no!" cried Percy. "Now there'll be trouble." And there was. Percy's driver quickly stopped the train. Everyone came running to the scene. Tom Tipper's bicycle was in pieces. "I'm sorry, Mr. Tipper," apologised Percy. "Never mind, Percy," said the postman. "It wasn't your fault, but now I've only got my legs to get the mail delivered." Whatever will happen next, Tom Tipper soon found out. Next day, he was waiting happily for Percy. "Beep, beep," whistled Percy. "Is that a smart new van I see?" "It is indeed. And did me a good turn, Percy. My chief decided a new van would do the job. Much better than another bike and worth the expense. Now, I can always be on time again." "So I did help," beamed Percy. "But by accident, as you might say." It was a busy time at the docks. All the engines were working hard, pushing and pulling trucks about. One morning, Percy was late. Cranky the crane was quick to criticise. "These ships can't be kept waiting. They have important cargo. If they miss the tides, they will be delayed in the docks. You should look up to ships and show more respect. You are, after all, only little." "We've got too much work," huffed Percy. "Then perhaps a lorry should do your job." Percy was shocked. He told the other engines what Cranky had said. "Stuff and nonsense," snorted James. "We engines run this island," said Henry. "What if a lorry does arrive?" I'm afraid it did, along with two more. Cranky was delighted. "Hey, you down there! Your job's done now. These lorries are taking over. One of them wants to talk to you." The lorry was very rude. "What's that steaming lump of scrap iron doing here? Be off with you." "Scrap iron? Steaming scrap iron? Pah!" A little later, Percy met up with Thomas and James. Another lorry was being rude to them. Then he saw Percy. "Oh, look. It's a little green goblin on wheels. You'll be scrapped. Just you wait and see." "Well, bust my boiler, what a horrid lorry!" exclaimed Thomas. "Despicable," agreed James. The next engine to meet a lorry was Toby. "Well, well, well. No wonder this railway's in a mess. You belonged in a museum, not working in a quarry." "I might look old, but I'm very useful." "Useful? Ah," replied the lorry. "Just you toodle off." "Toodle," spluttered Toby. "Come along, Toby," interrupted his driver. "Don't bother to argue with him. We'll go to the flour mill instead." But when they arrived at the flour mill, Toby was shocked to see yet another lorry. "What are you doing here?" "We three are doing your work now. You're too slow." The foreman spoke to Toby's driver. "I'm sorry, times are a-changing, I'm afraid." "Toby might be old," replied his driver, "but he's reliable. Come on, Toby, we'll go to the farms. They'll still use us." Toby trundled sadly away. His railway ran through a narrow gorge, but vehicles had to tackle a steep and dangerous road. When Toby arrived, he saw the lorry from the quarry again. It was loaded with rock. "That lorry's in trouble," thought Toby. And he was. The driver was thrown clear. "Rotten roads," he muttered. The wrecked lorry was taken to the docks. Percy looked at the lorry. "What's this lump of steaming scrap iron?" he teased. "I'll be back," replied the lorry, "so you can wipe that silly smile off your smoke box." "Pa," said Percy, and wheeshed him loudly. Then Butch, the breakdown vehicle, arrived. He was towing the lorry from the flour mill. "What happened?" asked Toby's driver. "He was overloaded with flour," came the reply, "and he broke down." "Not very useful now, are you?" said Toby. "Grrr," replied the lorries. Then James whistled excitedly. "They're bringing in the third lorry on a barge." "What happened to that one?" James asked. "Stupid lorry was reversing and fell straight into the sea," said the tow truck man. Later, Thomas arrived. He looked at the 3 lorries and laughed. Well, 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 the Brothers Grimm, smashed, broken and sunk. The lorries didn't return, and the engines now work even harder to make sure they never will. Gordon was feeling grumpy. This was making James cross. "Why are you complaining all the time?" "Because I'm a big blue engine and I know everything. I shall complain whenever I want. You're just a small red engine with ideas above your station." "I can't see any," said Percy. "Where are they?" "Any what?" "Ideas above the station. The sky is empty." "Like your smoke box, Percy," laughed James. But Gordon was still grumpy. "One day I'll show you just what a big engine can really do." "So what can a big engine really do?" "Not speak to silly little green engines for a start," replied Gordon, and he puffed away. Later that day, the Fat Controller came to see him. "Gordon, you'll be making one stop today with an empty express to test our new station. You can make up time afterwards." "Why can't Henry do it? He likes idling in stations." "You will do as you are told," came the blunt reply. So Gordon did. But he was still unhappy, and he grew sick too. "I just can't get up to speed," he moaned. "It's time for your visit to the works. Your pipes are clogged," said the fireman. At last they approached the new station. Gordon was impressed, but his mood soon changed. In front of him was a blank wall and huge buffers. "What a boring view," he grunted. "Important engines like me should have a panoramic view, where I can see people and people can see me." And he wheezed angrily. Gordon was happy when it was time to leave. "Now you really can enjoy your run, as long as your pipes will let you," said his driver. Come on, I can go faster than this," huffed Gordon. "Sick? Me? Never." But Gordon began to feel more and more feeble, and soon he came to a complete stop. "What happened?" he exclaimed. His driver and fireman inspected him. "Something's broken inside you, Gordon," said his fireman. "Now you really will have to go to the works." Gordon was still fuming when James arrived to collect his coaches. Well, so much for knowing about everything. You got too puffed up in your boiler, so it serves you right." When Gordon returned from the works a few days later, he was still boasting. "I am the finest engine on the island of Sodor, probably the finest in the world." "Come on, Gordon, we're going to the official opening of the new station." Then there was trouble. As Gordon approached the new station, neither the driver or fireman could apply his brakes. Something had jammed. The driver reduced steam, but Gordon was still going too fast. "Help me, please!" "Well, Gordon," said the Fat Controller, "I knew you wanted a panoramic view, but this is not the way to achieve it." "Yes, sir. Sorry, sir," muttered Gordon. When Gordon was repaired again, he took the Fat Controller to the new station for its second official opening. This time he arrived safely, and everyone clapped and cheered as he pulled in. The Fat Controller spoke to him. "Your panoramic view is here to stay. I trust you will always see through it from the safety of your own rails." Gordon heartily agreed. One summer's day, Thomas and Percy were idling in the station when Bertie the bus arrived. "Have you noticed something?" said Bertie. "What sort of something?" asked Thomas. "The Fat Controller. He seems different," replied Bertie. "I did see him staring at the clouds this morning," said Percy. "I wonder why." The reason was simple. It was Lady Hat's birthday and Sir Topham had a new outfit. "It's perfect for my birthday party," said his wife. "You'll look splendid, Topham dear." "And I'll wear my finest hat just for you," he replied. "Your birthday is a great occasion." "It is, so don't be late." "Don't worry, my dear. I shall be spick and span and right on time." Later that day, the Fat Controller had changed into his new suit. "You look fine, sir," said the station master. "You'd best be going." "Indeed," agreed the Fat Controller. "The engines are busy. I'll take care." "Is it reliable?" asked the station master. "Certainly," said the Fat Controller. But it wasn't. As he sped along, he suddenly saw a large hole in the road. He braked hard, but it was too late. "Bother! Now I've got a puncture. If I change my wheel, I'm sure to dirty my suit, and that would never do." Just then, he heard Caroline. "I have to attend my wife's birthday party, and I cannot be late. Please give me a lift." "I'll try, sir." But Caroline didn't like going fast. "I'm hot. My engine will overheat." And it did. "Told you so," said Caroline sadly. "Bother, bother." Then he heard a loud whistle. It was George the steamroller. George was cross when he saw Caroline. "Call yourself a car, you're a disgrace to the road. Find yourself a scrapyard." Caroline spluttered in fury. George's driver was more polite. "Can I be of assistance, sir?" "Only if you can get me to my wife's birthday party," sighed the Fat Controller. "We can take you to Thomas," replied the driver. "He's just down the line." "Much obliged." And they rumbled away. "What about me?" wailed Caroline. "I'll send for help," called the Fat Controller. "Stay there." "That's all I can do." George was enjoying rolling along the lane, but not the Fat Controller. Oil splashed everywhere. Worse was to follow. "Help!" cried George. "Something snapped." He veered out of control and the Fat Controller landed in a muddy ditch close to where Thomas was taking on water. Bother, bother. Thomas had never seen the Fat Controller in such a mess. "Can I help you, sir?" asked Thomas's driver. "Yes, please. Get me to the station as fast as you can." "I'm afraid our fireman's been taken ill." "Then I'll be your fireman," sighed the Fat Controller. Thomas was excited. The Fat Controller had to work hard. Coal dust and smut flew everywhere.